Drinking a coffee has been a part of our routine ever since we discovered how to make them. But how well do you know about coffee? The goal of the baristro is not just to serve a cup of coffee, but also to broaden the knowledge and the coffee drinkers and to have a coffee connection. So, what is single origin? Single origin from the word itself. Single means one, and the origin, it is a place or location where the beans are originated. Single origin coffee can offer more of the unique characteristics and the distinct flavor than a coffee that is made from multiple origins.
Okay, so good morning. My name is Shaina and I will be your barista for today. So today, I will be performing cupping. The purpose of cupping is so that we can judge or rate the quality of the cup before we serve it to our customers. The reason we do cupping at the baristro is because we decide to roast our coffee beans on our own. The reason we want to do that is so that we can control the flavors of our coffee to make sure we don't over roast or roast the coffee too light, because every coffee bean has their own natural flavors and we want to make sure that we give them to the guests. So here we have 3 different kinds of coffee beans for our cupping. We have other options of coffee beans at the bistro, but for today we will be using Brazil Santos, Vietnam, and local coffee from Lipa. So here you can find the information about the coffee. For Brazil Santos, it is medium roast and it is type Arabica. It is processed naturally at the altitude of 8,000 to 1,200 feet. And for Vietnam, it is dark roast and the variety is Excelsa. It is fully washed, and for Lipa, it is also dark roasted and the variety is Liberica, and the process is also fully washed. So, before I pour hot water to our coffee grounds, I first want to take a waft of its fragrance. It's important to take note that the fragrance of the coffee can be very different from its taste once we start pouring hot water. I also have here a cupping form. The purpose of the cupping form is so I can rate every characteristic of the coffee, such as the fragrance, the aroma, the sweetness, the acidity, etc. And now I'm going to start pouring hot water. We want to make sure that we fill the entire cup and make sure that all the grounds are completely wet. So as you can see, once I pour the hot water, the coffee blooms. Now the reason the coffee blooms is because once we roast the coffee, it has a buildup of gases, specifically carbon dioxide. And once we pour the hot water, the gases oxidize, which explains the bubbles at the top. And there. Now we want to give the coffee some time to bloom. So as you can see, it forms a crust at the top. Now once the coffee has bloomed, I'll want to prepare my cupping spoon. I have to make sure that my cupping spoon is clean. That way I don't mix the flavors of the different types of coffee. Now the first thing I have to do is break the crust. The purpose of breaking the crust is to release the aromas of the coffee. So as for Lipa, I can smell some kind of bitterness from it, considering it is dark roasted. It also smells very earthy and woody. Next, Vietnam. It's kind of fruity, but also earthy at the same time. And lastly, Brazil Santos. It's very fragrant. It's actually one of my favorite cups of coffee. It's kind of has a chocolatey smell to it. Next, we want to remove the excess grounds at the top. You can gather them with 2 spoons, scoop them, then just transfer them here. Now it's okay if some of the coffee grounds sink to the bottom. That way the flavors can be more immersed in the water. Always make sure that your cupping spoons are clean before moving on to the next coffee. Okay, let me just change my water. Next is the most important step when it comes to cupping, tasting the coffee. So when we taste coffee, the purpose of the cupping spoon is it takes just the right amount of coffee for one single sip. When you taste coffee, you have to spray it into your mouth. This is called slurping. So Lipa has a very bitter taste, very earthy, kind of a woody flavor. Now, once I taste the coffee, I have to write that down into my cupping form. Next, I'm going to taste Vietnam. Vietnam has some fruitiness to it, kind of like dried fruits, but at the same time, I can taste some chocolate. It's also kind of earthy on its own. Let me taste that again. Yeah, it's also kind of tart at the same time. Lastly, Brazil Santos. Brazil Santos is rated as specialty coffee, meaning it's one of the highest quality of coffee in the world. It's very light, it's kind of clean. I can taste a bit of chocolate, but at the same time, mostly like mixed fruits. Let me try that again. It's also kind of nutty at the same time, like almonds. So that kind of ends the process of cupping,